So the characters are pretty likable in both movies, which is pretty refreshing. Some of Disney's tried and true formula with a few modern twists that mostly pay off. But what about the plot? Well, it's safe to say that the plot in both of these films don't really resemble their source material. I'll pause here to allow you to get over the shock this statement must have inflicted.
Let's start with Princess and the Frog again. Well, because it's a musical, we'll have to talk about the songs eventually, so we might as well get it out of the way now. Truth is, I quite like the first three, which I think do their job and are catchy enough to get stuck in your head. There's some good animation with them, love that sequence of animation with Almost There, and they keep you absorbed in the film. After the first three, the remaining songs are like...
Well, how to describe this in an overly complicated, unnecessary manner? Imagine you're back in grade school and it's a Tuesday afternoon in late spring. You're sitting at your kitchen table looking out the window, it's warm and sunny outside, and you can hear children laughing and playing in the distance. But you can't go outside because you've got a big stack of math homework. That's what these songs are like.
They aren't so much bad as they put the entire film at a standstill. I dig the jazz motif, but the last 3 or 4 songs just drag. A couple of them aren't even very long, but they just make you want to blank out for a few moments until the movie starts again. I don't think that's what they were going for.
At least I hope it wasn't. On to the plot.
After years of working hard, Tiana finally gets enough money to make a down payment on the building she hopes will one day be her restaurant, but is informed later that she was outbid. Meanwhile, Naveen, who came to New Orleans because he hopes to woo and marry Charlotte LaBeouf for her fortune, is tricked into getting a card reading by the Shadow Man. He turns the prince into a frog and captures his blood in a talisman that Naveen's servant Lawrence wears. This gives him Naveen's appearance so that he can take his place. If he marries Charlotte instead, the Shadow Man will supposedly have New Orleans in the palm of his hand, and him and Lawrence can split the LaBeouf fortune right down the middle.
We'll be splitting that juicy LaBeouf fortune right down the middle. 60-40, like I said.
Naveen escapes and mistakes Tiana for a princess at a costume party and convinces her to kiss him, claiming to have the fortune to grant her a wish. But because she isn't a princess, instead of turning him human, the kiss turns her into a frog. So they set off in hopes to find someone to get rid of the curse.
This plot is frankly a mess.
Putting aside the fact that Fascular's plans are a bit convoluted, why does he need to be associated with Big Daddy LaBeouf? If he's able to access these demon things, why not just... how does kind of being in charge of New Orleans mean that they suddenly could take the souls? Are they just too polite to do it when they're not in charge? Fuck it, he just wants money. Okay, I'll bite. So they spend most of the time in the bayou looking for this voodoo doctor named Mama Odie, who's a little blind lady, and when they find her, she sends them back to where they came from because the only way to break the spell is to kiss a princess. And Charlotte kind of counts because her dad is the king of Mardi Gras, but only until midnight. Okay. Well, they're too late anyways, and they kill off one of the side characters? What? Why? This is like them killing off Timon and Pumbaa in The Lion King. And they stay frogs and get married. Then there's this other loophole where they can turn back into humans. Biana is a princess now. And what is going on?
Seriously, it's all so overcomplicated. Just pick a storyline and stick to it.
That's not to say that there aren't good things in here. The love story is good, the character's development is good, and I even admit to tearing up at a few parts. I mean, the film knows how to tap into your emotions, it just needs to get its story straight and simplify things a little. Because right now it's a huge, tangled mess.
And speaking of Tangled.
The backstory to Tangled starts off with a magical flower made from a drop of sunlight with healing properties. It's discovered and hoarded by Mother Gothel, who uses it to stay young. But when the king's wife, who is pregnant, falls ill, the kingdom searches for the flower and finds it and brings it back to the kingdom, where it's made into a stew which the queen drinks. She becomes well and her daughter is born with beautiful blonde hair. Gothel figures out that the hair itself has the same healing properties as the flower once had, but only if it's not cut. If it's cut, it turns brown and the power is gone. So she kidnaps the child and locks her in a tower to raise her as her daughter. I don't know if you're familiar with the original Rapunzel story, but this is taking a lot of liberties, and honestly, in this case, with good results. This is a good story, right down to the king and queen sending off lanterns every year on Rapunzel's birthday in the hopes that she returns. This is actually really well crafted.
Although I don't really think it needs to be a musical, because while Princess and the Frog does have a couple of good songs, Tangled has none.
They're all really forgettable. You will not get these songs stuck in your head. Actually, you'll probably forget them the minute they end. I almost get the feeling that they were added in the last minute or something.
Poison ivy, quicksand, cannibals and snakes, the plague. No! Yes, but also large bugs, men with pointy teeth, and stop no more, you'll just upset me.
Other than that, the only thing I have to complain about plot-wise is the ending. No. No. No!
Tear magic? Seriously? Tear magic?
This is one of the lamest cliches ever. As bad as helium with love. Based on much of the films I watched as a child, apparently all ailments can be cured by love or tears, or in the really bad movies, hugs.
Whatever. Apart from that, I really do enjoy this movie. So, 2 films. Both have good characters. One has some really good songs and some really dull songs. The other one might as well not have any songs at all. One has a really good story, but a nearly unforgivable ending. The other one has a really messy story with confused plot elements, but good emotions. They're both gorgeous, so which one is better?
This is a tough one. Going into this, I had no idea which movie I would choose. Even though it's a mess, I think Princess and the Frog feels more like a Disney movie, and not just because of the 2D animation. But is that because it's really like the old Disney movies, or because they were trying really hard to make it like the old films? There are a few things in Princess and the Frog that make me think that Disney is trying too hard to relive the classic days, whereas Tangled is reminiscent of classic Disney, but with a modern twist, so this needs to be taken into consideration when comparing these films. On the other hand, Princess and the Frog did pull at my heartstrings a little more than Tangled did, and overall I think I felt more for those characters. When I'm in the right mood, this movie makes me cry, mostly in that scene when Faustular is trying to convince Tiana to give him the talisman.
Daddy! Hey, baby cakes. Shame all that hard work didn't amount to much more than a busted-up old gumbo pot and a dream that never got off the back porch. But you can give your poor daddy everything he ever wanted.
Yeah, I know. I'm a girl. I can't help it.
You're almost there.
You know what? I'm calling it a draw.
If Tangled had cut the songs and had a less cliche ending, it might have come out on top. If Princess and the Frog had simplified its story and cut out some of the songs, it might have come out on top. But both of these films really do have their strengths, and both of these films really do have their weaknesses, and both give me hope for Disney's future.
Well, I don't think they quite come up to the level of the old films. I do really like both of these movies, and I hope Disney keeps it up.
Although, with their upcoming film, I don't know, I keep thinking it sounds like a Bob the Builder villain or something. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
And I do think Disney has progressed a little with their characters, at least with their heroines. Although, I am kind of hoping Pixar takes it up a notch with Merida. I'm the animated heroine.